Huskies against the 5th-ranked Georgia Lady Dogs of the SEC, being billed as a dogfight in Athens. Just moments ago, Andy Landers in the locker room had these final words of wisdom.
You go to Sales. Sales is a key, boys. Sales and Walters. We got Sales. Boy, she's going to get out and run. If she rebounds, she's going to drive and sprint back. You may be able to help somewhere else.
Wow, a very low-keyed Andy Landers. Hello again, everyone. Back beside Mimi Griffith, I'm Robin Roberts. We're very excited about this game for good reason. 4 of the top players in the country, led by Connecticut's Kara Walters and Lakeisha Fred of Georgia. And Mimi, what I really like about Fred is the fact that she does not disappear in the big games. Dated back to last year's NCAA tournament, the Lady Dogs have played 6 games against teams in the top 5. She's averaging a double-double, 19 points, 12 rebounds.
Robin, I call Fred SBD, silent but deadly. She's not demonstrative, but she is explosive. In a wink of an eye, she can be in double-figure points and rebounds against you. And Kara Walters, on the other hand, is 6'7", is the dominant center in the game today. She has good hands, good footwork around the low block area, and is shooting over 60% from the floor. Obviously, Georgia doesn't want her touching the ball much.
Obviously not. What more can you ask for? 2 elite programs in the country. We've got a packed house. We'll be back with the starting lineup and the tip right after this. Come on back, everyone. The same lineup as in the 6 previous games, Mimi.
And Robin, Gino Auriemma calls Lakeisha Sales the barometer for his team. If she is on, if she's playing great, they can be a great team. If not, they struggle.
And for the home-standing Georgia Lady Dogs, look at that, 5 seniors.
And Kedra Holland-Corn has been lighting it up early in the season. She struggled a little bit with some streaky shooting, especially in the Alabama loss on Wednesday.
As you can no doubt hear, we've got a full house here. Did a great job of getting the word out that the top-ranked team in the land, the Connecticut Huskies, were in town. A rematch of last year's MLK Day game won by Georgia. That game was played in Storrs, Connecticut. Walters and Fred to jump. And it's controlled by Connecticut.
Robin, both these teams like the transition game. Connecticut will run on anything, a missed shot, a rebound.
A made basket, they'll run.
Absolutely.
Goes up-tempo. Sales slashing. Off her hand. Georgia turnover.
Excuse me. Georgia worked a lot yesterday on that backdoor, defending that backdoor cut. Now, this is one of the keys that Gino Auriemma talked about. He doesn't know if Rachel Powell likes a lot of pressure, and he wants Rita Williams, their most aggressive defender on the floor right now, all over her.
Brett won't hesitate to put it down on the floor, but can't get it to go. Rita Williams with the rebound.
That's going to be a matchup to watch, that Brett and Lakeisha Sales matchup. Gino Auriemma was not sure he wanted Lakeisha going against her player.
And Sales knocks down the 3.
That's a good barometer for this team.
Oh, yeah. Henderson working on Walters. Another turnover, controlled by Williams. Inside to Carla Berube. Only 5-0 lead for Connecticut.
And that's one of the things that Connecticut does so well, is push this ball, as we said, on anything.
Applying the pressure. The Lady Dogs break it. But Brett, a little slow to get up. And a quick steal by Powell. It's Connecticut's ball, out of bounds.
You're going to see Georgia throw some full court pressure of their own against Connecticut. Andy Landers talked to us about the fact that Rita Williams is new at this point position. He wants to see how well she handles pressure.
The Sales can evidently handle the pressure, bringing it up cross court. And the 3 by Amy Duran. 2 3-pointers for the Huskies. Quick turnover again. The rebound by Williams in the putback.
Gino Auriemma told us yesterday he thought that the team that had the better shooting day would win this game. He thought it was going to be an offensive battle.
So far, battle. Henderson, quick down the other end, too hard. Kedra Holland-Corn does a good job of drawing the foul.
Aggressiveness on both ends of the floor by both of these teams, really attacking it offensively as well as defensively.
We'll see what Gino Auriemma has been able to do, build a dynasty in 12 years at Connecticut, including the dream season of 2 years ago, 35-0, but that was then, this is now.
What have you done for us lately, right? The thing about
a lot.
Connecticut, Robin, is that it's not just a great team, it's a great program. They lead the nation in attendance as well. As a matter of fact, they added some seats to Gamble Pavilion. Now they are able to fit 10,027, and they are averaging over that per game because of the game at the Hartford Civic Center against Tennessee.
That was an excellent game, and Keisha Holland-Korn with 2 from the line. Still a 6-point lead for the Connecticut Huskies. And the steal by Georgia. Brett will put it up.
No need for a 30-second shot clock in this game.
Should be plenty of scoring. Berube a tough time getting it in, but finally does to Williams.
Connecticut anticipated this pressure yesterday, spent a lot of time on the press breaker. And Gino said that a press can actually work in your favor. If you keep your composure, you could end up getting some layups with a couple good passes.
3 seconds is the call. The third turnover by Connecticut.
In last year's game against Georgia, Connecticut actually shot the ball better than Georgia, but they turned the ball over 18 times versus Georgia's 11. So that was their sore point in last year's loss to Georgia.
Henderson driving. Connecticut now with a 10-8 lead. Berube will take the length and a good pass off to Duran.
Not exactly the way they practiced breaking that press, but effective nonetheless.
4-point lead by Connecticut.
There's a rule of thumb that you always press a pressing team because they can't necessarily handle it themselves, and both of these teams putting a lot of effort in the first few minutes of this game.
Brett really nowhere to go with that. Connecticut off and running again. Off to Berube. Excuse me, Duran. She has now 4 in the game. Whew. Can we take a break and catch our breath?
Breathe now, Robin, breathe. I'll tell you, Andy Landers said yesterday that Connecticut rather, doesn't do a lot of things, but what they do very well. They're very basic, very fundamental, and running that break is one of the things they do very well.
Just a 20-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here and see what happened in that last play.
And you can see Nikisha Sales. Now, this is textbook where you take the ball right down the middle. You look for your wings coming on either side. You draw the defense to you, and you dish it off as soon as the defender comes towards you. That's 101 fast break.
And Connecticut 6 of 7 from the field. 86% shooting so far. Keisha Sales definitely has a game face on.
Ooh, she's been a pretty good barometer as far as Gino Auriemma is concerned.
The call away from the ball, called on Kara Walters. Just her first.
Now, you remember that Gino Auriemma promised, guaranteed that Kara Walters would not foul out of the game this year, and she hasn't so far. They've got a great talented freshman, Paige Fowler, who's able to back her up, and as a result, Kara has not been in foul trouble so far this year.
Holland looking inside, the spread on the baseline.
That short corner is vulnerable, and that's what Georgia worked on yesterday.
She now has 6 in the game. The 4-point lead for Connecticut. Williams called for traveling. That was one concern by Gino Auriemma, the turnovers by Connecticut. 4 minutes into the game,
hasn't been too bad either. Georgia putting full court pressure on Connecticut, and it has been effective so far in the first 4 minutes. Letitia Frett, we talked about her presenting matchup problems because she can take the ball inside or score from the outside. Connecticut, on the other hand, just loves running the ball. Carla Berube actually leads this team in assists from the 4 spot on the floor, and a nice dish there to Amy Duran.
She's led the team 7 of their 16 games in assists. You see the costly turnovers, 4 for Connecticut, 6 for Georgia. And you can expect that with so much movement and up-tempo game like this. Williams almost comes up with the steal.
Connecticut in a matchup zone right now. They've switched defenses.
Keeper Holland-Korn for 3. Doesn't get the bounce. Georgia tried to keep it alive, but it's Duran with the rebound.
Look at the way Connecticut just pushes the ball constantly. They keep pressure on you not only defensively, but offensively as well.
They're always looking to run, and right there, Duran ran over Tiffany Walker. Call for the foul. Just her first and the 3rd team foul for Connecticut.
One of the reasons Connecticut wants to be in this zone is they are concerned about Frett and the matchup problems that she presents.
Almost knocked out by Sale. She has 75 steals coming into the game, ranking 6th in the nation.
So back-to-back games with 7 steals in each game.
Don't stick the ball in her face. She just might take it away from you.
Now, Andy Landers yesterday really worked on ball movement against the zone. He told us he felt that they would be playing them more zone today than player-to-player defense.
Shot clock running out. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Connecticut's ball. Shea Ralph, the super freshman, coming in for Amy Duran, averaging in double figures as just a freshman.
Shea Ralph has really provided a lot of spark. She, especially in that Tennessee game at the Hartford Civic Center, really came in and provided the spark that Connecticut needed to take that game in hand.
So good feed from Walters to Rita Williams, but she can't convert, but gets it back to Sales. And it's off a Georgia player, so it will remain Connecticut's ball.
Georgia playing player-to-player defense. The matchup with Rita Williams and Rachel Powell's an interesting one. Williams definitely has the advantage in quickness.
Walters working down low, but she's fouled before she can get the shot off. That's the first Georgia foul.
Andy Lander stressed with his team that Connecticut wants to get the ball inside, whether it's on dribble penetration or whether it's dumping down low to Carol Wallace right there.
That's what they try to do again. Yet another Connecticut turnover, though. Georgia's ball.
Connecticut has been averaging a little over 19 turnovers a game, which is not good for the #1 team in the nation. It should be more around the 15 turnover or less.
They still have a 4-point lead over Georgia. Cooper Holland trying to cut into it. Walker with the rebound, and she's fouled by Shea Ralph.
Rebounding has been a concern for both of these teams as well, Robin. In the Tennessee game, Georgia was out-rebounded handily. Actually, in this year's Tennessee game, they out-rebounded Tennessee, but Tennessee out-rebounded Connecticut when they played in Hartford by a wide margin, 51-37.
Amy Duran comes back in for Lakeisha Sales. Tiffany Walker at the line, a 56% free throw shooter. In and out. How about that senior class for Andy Landers?
That's not a bad record.
He's going to miss him.
26-1 the senior class is against non-conference opponents.
Incredible. Walker 1 of 2. Georgia still down by 3. Applying the pressure in the backcourt. Shea Ralph brings it up. Such composure for a freshman.
And what's really impressive is the way that she can handle that ball with either hand with equal ease. One of the reasons she can put on moves like that is because she's as comfortable with her left as she is with her right.
Brett looking to create. Has it taken away. Berube picks it up and is fouled by Henderson.
Way too much dribbling right now by Georgia in trying to break down this 2-3 zone. They need more quick ball movement.
That's Carson foul. That's the second foul on Tracy Henderson, and so she'll have to come out. And coming in her place, Sina and Vorstock.
Tracy Henderson has had foul trouble, has been prone to foul trouble, fouled out 9 times last year, 3 times so far this year. Although in the recent game against Mississippi, she had no fouls and was very proud about that.
Also had a double-double. 1 of 3 Lady Dogs in double-doubles in that game.
Georgia really sloughing off. They're playing player-to-player defense, but they're really clogging the zone, trying to keep the ball from going inside.
10 seconds on the shot clock, and Shea Ralph calls for the offensive foul. That's her second.
What happens with a team when you're so used to being able to dribble, penetrate, you get a little frustrated. You're wide open on the outside, and yet the Georgia defense is packing that key area so that there's no available space to be driving like that. Shea Ralph didn't recognize that and threw the offensive.
And Drew the bench as well. Has to go out with 2 fouls, so Connecticut getting a bit of foul trouble early on. A 5-point lead for Connecticut.
Now watch for Georgia to attack the short corner on this zone. Again, they worked on that in practice yesterday, sending a cutter through and then out to the short corner.
Holland Horn. too hard off the back of the rim. Another rebound for Durand. Rita Williams controlling, but has it stripped by Holland Korn. Trying to get it ahead to Fret, and she does. And she's fouled. They want continuation.
Oh, if that's good, that is definite continuation.
Wow. No, absolutely no basket on that.
There's no way.
Sales call for the foul, her second.
That foul was clearly before the shot went up. You can see Holland Korn in the effort that she makes to get the turnover to begin with, and then they start the break with a pass to Fret. Nikisha Sales right there. She realizes that Fret's going to have a wide open layup, wants to prevent that. There's the foul. There's the shot.
Already the 16th foul by Connecticut. So lots of time in the first half. Fret loves that baseline. But quickly comes Connecticut back down the court. Inside to Walters. She's fouled.
That was Sina Andvorskov who got that foul. And you want to talk about physical. Sina was the one who gave Nikisha Fret her broken nose and her concussion in the Tennessee game.
That was the first time in 98 games. Well, Fret had to sit out the next 2 games because of the concussion. That broke the streak of 98 games seeing action.
She told the trainer, forget the concussion, I'm going to have ulcers if you don't let me play.
Walters always giving the opposition some ulcers. 5-point lead again for Connecticut.
Quick ball movement is what Andy Landers stressed to attack this zone.
Fret trying to get it down to Andvorskov, but it's taken away. The bounce pass to Berube, but too hard.
Robin, notice the way Connecticut will run even when they don't have the numbers. They're gonna jam it at you.
And Holland Korn called for the offensive foul, trying to make something happen that just wasn't there.
I don't think I've seen 5 seconds go off the shot clock yet. Except when they have the full court press on, it takes them longer to get the ball down the floor.
A lot to see, that's for sure. Paige Sauer coming in for Connecticut. And Berube going out.
Paige Sauer at 6'5" gives them a formidable front line now with 6'5", 6'7". Let's see if they don't try to work some high-low action with Paige Sauer and Carol Walters.
Sauer also has a good shooting touch for someone that big. He shoots quickly, but Decker with the rebound for Georgia.
These freshmen aren't shy for Connecticut,
no.
are they?
No, they're
that
not.
was their first touch, I think.
And a turnover by Georgia. So we'll catch our breath yet again with Connecticut leading 18-13. 11.5 to go in the first half. See the shooting for both teams. Connecticut 8 of 13, Georgia just 5 of 11, so they're getting up and down the court, but they're just not making those shots fall.
And Connecticut has led the nation for 3 straight years in field goal percentage.
They're shooting 51% from the floor this year so far. Paige Sauer, Shea Ralph still out with 2 fouls. A super freshman, 1 of 3 for Gino Oriana's team this year. They're really seeing a lot of playing time.
Georgia staying in that player-to-player defense, but you can see again how they want to clog that key area. Carla Berube is always looking to dribble penetrate. Rarely do these Connecticut players just catch and shoot the ball. Amy Durand, number 22 for Connecticut, is the one player that can really do that well, and they may have to look to her.
3 seconds to call, another turnover by Connecticut.
Connecticut switching the player-to-player from their zone.
The first 3-quarter for Georgia, Brandy Decker, and she is not shy from shooting out from that distance.
No, and Georgia's so effective offensively because they have so many weapons from the inside and the outside.
The 2-point lead for Connecticut. They've led from the beginning.
Robin, you'll notice how every Connecticut player puts the ball on the floor immediately once they get it. Nobody's looking for, the triple threat is supposed to be shoot, pass, and dribble, and they're looking for the dribble immediately.
And Berube called for traveling. The 10th turnover by Connecticut. a 2-point lead for the Connecticut Huskies. Fred again on the baseline, and the reverse, but too short, and Walters with the rebound.
Transition defense is so important when you play this Connecticut team. Georgia doing a pretty good job right now of preventing them from getting their transition game going consistently.
The ball knocked away by Georgia, so it'll remain Connecticut's ball. Paige Sauer looking to come back in the game. And replaces Carla Berube. So baby twin towers again is the lineup for Gino Auriemma. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Now look at the way they'll leave Kara Wallace wide open out front because she's of no danger to them out there.
3 seconds on the shot clock. Oh, that's a first.
That Georgia defense is really effective against this Connecticut team. Again, they're just bluffing off their players. They're offering them the outside shot. Connecticut not recognizing that opportunity, still trying to jam it in the middle.
Andy Landers takes a lot of pride in playing D. Colin Korn. The rebound by Sauer.
Now, Rita Williams has the shot. They really want to shoot off the dribble. They've got to get comfortable with being able to catch the ball and shoot it.
They really want, Georgia wants her to take that shot.
Absolutely.
Fred trying to create something, and too hard off the backboard. Now forcing a little too much.
That's not exactly shot A in the rule book.
The transition again by Connecticut. Boy, Paige Sauer converts.
When you have a 6'5" post player that can run the floor that way.
Nice advantage. It's a 4-point advantage now for Connecticut. Under 9 to go in the first half. Rachel Powell for three.
Rachel Powell is shooting 48% from the free throw line. She should be taking that shot every opportunity.
Nikisha Sales puts it up in that distance, in and out. Secker trying to control for Georgia.
I'll tell you, Sales missed that shot, but it's not a bad shot to take. She can nail that, and they've got to get comfortable. They've got to get in the mindset that Georgia is taking something away from them, so go back to another aspect of your offense.
So Sales goes out, and Shea Ralph comes in her place. Just a 1-point lead for Connecticut. Again, they have led from the opening tip. Walters, a good combination to Paige Sauer. She now has 4 in the game.
You put so much focus on Walters that sometimes you leave the other players alone, and Paige Sauer took advantage of it.
Walker from the free throw line, in and out. Duran with another rebound for Connecticut.
There's the
cutting Duran. There's that back door.
There's the signature offensive move by this Connecticut team. Andy Landers stressed with his team. Anytime the post comes to the high post area, everyone is to collapse to the box. I think he's
reminding them right now.
Oh, so gently. Right, Robin? One of the rules that he put in place yesterday is anytime the high post gets the ball, they are to collapse to the box. You can see a nice backdoor move by Amy Duran. That was one of the things they focused on yesterday.
Let's see why Amy Duran is an 80% free throw shooter. So cool the sophomore is for Connecticut. It's a 6-point lead now for the top-ranked and undefeated Connecticut Huskies.
I respect Martin Luther King. He's changed the attitudes of a lot of people, and sometimes I have to believe that if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would be able to play today, you know, in front of all these people and on national TV.
His dream and his vision have afforded us the opportunity to be successful and to dream as little kids to be one day that star basketball player, or to dream to be that CEO or that manager of that company.
Or you can also dream to be a national sportscaster. Martin Luther King Day.
It's nice to take a moment to pause and reflect on the day that we play this game. This has become a traditional top-ranked rivalry. Last year it was Georgia-Connecticut. The year before that, Connecticut-Tennessee. It's always been a great game on this great day.
It certainly has. Keidra Korn, Holland Korn, I should say. She got married.
Keidra Korn, right?
Confusing me a little bit. Was just Keidra Holland, but got married in the offseason to Jesse Korn, a trainer on the team.
That hyphen thing, that always confuses me.
Amy Durant off the front of the rim. Decker with the rebound. Walker with the rebound. 4-point lead for Connecticut.
Connecticut really switching up defenses. They wanted to use the element of surprise with this Georgia team. Make the guards have to determine what they're playing against to try to keep them off the guard.
Holland Korn, nothing doing that time. She's a streaky shooter. If she feels good, she's going to keep putting it up.
We mentioned how hot she was early in the year, and then she went 1 for 11. 1 for 10 from three-point land, in the Alabama game.
And it's Latrice Bush called for the foul. Her first.
Andy Landers very stylish today in his Nehru shirt. That's in now, you know, those shirts without the collar.
You are on the cutting edge of fashion as always. 25-21 Connecticut. As we approach. And traveling is the call. My goodness. And speaking of fashionable, Claudia Roundtree, the player of the year last year for Georgia, who had a terrific game a year ago.
Yeah, she's sporting a tie-dye shirt today, Robin. Now that's coming
wow,
back,
man.
you know. Little
Cool.
disco, little tie-dye.
She had 27 points last year against Connecticut. Remember, she was bugging for the camera.
I'll tell you what,
she had a great
sure
time.
was. She was quite enjoyable to watch.
She must be on her seat as her team is down by 4. Her old teammates back out to Rachel Powell for 3 off the back of the rim. A battle for the rebound. The foul.
Offensively, Georgia has really not gotten into any kind of rhythm. And I think that Connecticut's strategy of switching up the defenses is actually working.
Just Tiffany Walker's first foul of the game. So Shea Ralph will go to the line. 81% free throw shooter.
Shea Ralph scored over 3,000 points in her high school career, and that was in 3 years, Robin.
3,002 points, 17 high school records, and there's her proud mom.
Marcia Mann.
Played at North Carolina.
The first All-American from North Carolina. Also played on the World University team in 1973 with some familiar names like Pat Head Summit and Teresa Grant, you know. Actually, Teresa Schenk back then.
Remember those names.
Annie Myers, too. Our own Annie Myers.
Lane violation, another turnover. Connecticut still though with a 5-point lead. Lakeisha Fred loves that baseline shot.
The problem for Georgia right now is Fred is the only one who is really looking to aggressively attack the basket offensively. They really need to have output from more players.
Walters inside. When all else fails, you know you can go inside to Kara Walters, who is fouled.
Credit Carla Berube for that shot at the basket by Walters because it was her perfect lob pass inside that really set Walters up. Nice pin down low. You can see Kara Walters cutting across the key, trying to get to the block first. But look at the nice pass. Comes to her lead hand, her left hand, right where the defense wasn't. And it allows Walters to just roll to the basket and lay it up.
Berube goes out. Paige Sauer comes in. That was Rachel Powell with her first foul for Georgia, bringing Walters to the line. She really worked on her free throw shooting during the summer for Gina Auriemma, but still has a difficult time at the line. She's a 57% free throw shooter.
And she's averaging shooting better from the field at over 60% than she does from the line.
1 of 2. 4-point lead now. Under 6 to go in the first half.
Connecticut staying in that player-to-player. But again, it's Fred. Fred's the only one who's really looking for a shot. She's got to involve her teammates to be effective.
Good look. to Walters, some great pass from Shea Ralph. Now has 5 points.
Talk about Kara Walters' footwork. Very nice pin and roll down the key to allow herself the freedom to take that shot.
She has really worked hard in her game the last 4 years being in college. Bush baseline. Gets it back. Says, I don't think I'll go back in there. I think I'll bring it out and set it back up.
And, you know, she had a simple foul shot right there, wide open, but just was hesitant to take it.
Fred again trying to create. 3 seconds is the call.
All right, here's the problem, Robin. Fred is trying to create, but by doing that, she's keeping her head down, and she's not even seeing her teammates, and her teammates become stagnant on offense and stand in the lane too long.
One of the freshmen for Andy Landers, Diana Watt, number 52 in the game, guarding Kara Walters. How do you like that as a freshman?
Well, they keep throwing fresh people on Kara Walters to try to wear her down.
Watt is trying to keep her out. Shea Ralph almost got her own rebound. In fact, does. Gives it out to Sauer. Up and down. She's called for traveling. Deidre Holland-Korn coming back in. Tiffany Walker, who missed all but 9 games last year because of 2 separate knee injuries. She was a starter as a freshman and sophomore. In fact, led the team in rebounding her freshman year, but unfortunately her junior year was marred by injuries. Just 4.5 minutes until the Lee Jeans halftime report. UConn has led throughout, now with a 6-point lead. Relatively low-scoring game for these 2 high-powered teams.
Crisp ball movement and then penetrate that zone by hitting the gaps in the zone. That's the way to attack it.
Bush trying to go over Sauer, and boy, Shea Ralph and Rita Williams both come down hard, and Flett is the one called for the foul. That's her first. Little partisan crowd not believing that.
We talked about the fact that rebounding is a concern for Andy Landers. One of the problems that this Georgia team has is that they try to rely on their athletic ability too much. Andy Landers stressed getting a bun on somebody yesterday. In other words, get your body to box them out. That was really just a touch foul and could have been a no call as far as I'm concerned. But that's been a problem for Georgia all along, is coming over the back and just trying to use athletic ability.
And so Williams goes to the line as Kara Walters takes a seat. She's seeing the most time of any Husky this year. Huh. And gets the shooter's bounce. She now has 3 points in the game.
Rita Williams only shooting 52% from the line. Has worked hard on her shooting and her ball handling over the summer.
Tina Oyema really has been pleased with the way she stepped up her game. I mean, coming in for Jen Rosati, who recently won the Broderick Cup, you know, that's tough. That's really tough. But you can't compare her to Jen Rosati. They have 2 totally different games and skill levels. Pam Irwin now in.
And Pam Irwin is a shooter for this Georgia team. So if Connecticut gives her the opportunity from the perimeter, let's see if she takes it.
She's instant offense, but Brett comes through with her 12 points.
Talk about a shooter.
Wow.
She had some hops on that one.
Shea Ralph in and out, but Paige Sauer is there for the putback.
One of the reasons Paige Sauer came to Connecticut is that she could play against Kara Walters day in and day out in practice and become a better post player.
And that she will. Irwin trying from outside, but no. Ball is knocked away. It's going to remain Georgia's ball. Big Monday coming up later tonight here on ESPN. We've got Syracuse and number 16 Villanova at 7:30, followed by Oklahoma State and number 25 Texas Tech at 9:30. Then a little midnight madness head out west for UNLV and Fresno State. Big Monday, starting with this big matchup between Connecticut and Georgia. It's a lot at the line. A freshman.
Georgia really has some depth in the front court area with Diana Lott. As you mentioned, a freshman from Warner Robins, Georgia. She was a Class 4A state champion last year.
And she makes them both. to bring her team within 6 points.
It's time to announce the Nike Lucky Row and sitting in section.
Once upon a time, 3 girls went to Rock Steady for a pickup game.
Program, including Teresa Edwards, the 4-time Olympian, 3 gold medals you see there, and the 1 bronze from '92, a 2-time All-American here at Georgia. And on hand for the game, playing a little pro ball not far from here for the Atlanta Glory of the American Basketball League.
That's an unfamiliar seat for her on the sidelines there. And you know, here's a trivia for you, Robin. Georgia was the only school to ever have a player on both the men's and women's Olympic team in the same year.
Vern Fleming.
Oh, man.
Teresa Edwards and Vern
You
Fleming.
must have read the media guide.
Get that weak stuff out of here.
What's the year? What's the year?
Get that by
84.
You see, field goal percentage and everything else that's going on to give you an idea of why it's 33-27 Connecticut with 3 minutes to go in the first half. Too hard by Duran.
I was just setting you up.
Thanks, teammate. Still a 6-point lead for Connecticut. They have led throughout.
Connecticut in the player-to-player. Look at Brett just seeing her opportunity and taking the shot. The problem is that her players aren't in rebounding position when she does that.
And that was Walter's 4th rebound. Duran looking inside, but it's kicked away.
Robin, I've been impressed with the composure of Connecticut. Yeah, they're the #1 team in the nation, but some would say they haven't really been tested yet. They've had 3 top 25 teams on their schedule thus far. Georgia, on the other hand, has played 8 top 25 teams. This is their first real good test with a top 5 team.
Especially on the road like this.
Exactly.
But they've done a good job of keeping the crowd out of it with plays like that by Carol Walters.
Talked about her footwork.
Wow.
The way she faked one way and was able to drop steps towards the baseline, freed her up for a layup.
Connecticut's lead up to 8 as we approach the 2-minute mark in the first half.
We know. It's a good thing it went in, but has she passed the ball?
Doing what you can to keep Georgia in this. They're down by 6 now.
I think one thing that will loosen Georgia up is if they are able to get their transition game going by letting their defense create some offense. We haven't seen any steals, and they've been famous for that, to be able to run off a steal.
Time running out, and Rita Williams called for double dribbling. Don't see that too much. We've got the Lee Jeans halftime report coming up in less than 2 minutes. Take a look at the UConn program, both the men and women. Husky Mania alive and well. Trust me, I live in the Connecticut area. Alive and well up there. And Mimi will have an interview with Beth Bass, the new executive director of the Women's Basketball Coaches Association. That and much more in the Lee Jeans halftime report. Fred again, off the back of the rim this time.
Okay, that's been 3 straight trips down the floor where Lakeisha Fred has received the pass and shot the ball.
Shea Ralph creating in the lane.
Shea Ralph loves to dribble penetrate. You won't see her catch the ball and shoot, but she's been to the free throw line 65 times so far this year, Robin. The second leader in that category on the team next to Nikisha Sales. You would think that Carol Wallace would be the one. But because both Sales and Ralph like to penetrate, they're on the line a lot.
And Borskoff can't get it to go down. Ralph with the rebound. Time running out in the first half. And Walters is fouled by Ann Borskoff. My. We've got the Winter X Games coming up on ESPN. January 30th through February 2nd on both ESPN and ESPN2. World-class athletes compete in 5 events: snowboarding, super modified shovel racing, snow mountain biking, ice climbing. No proof that Mimi Griffin will be participating in the Winter X Games.
Did you recognize any of those names?
We've had a lot of success with the X Games, both in the summer. This is the first time we brought it to you in the winter. We're extremely excited about that.
And Tracy Henderson more worried about this game than the X Games right now.
She's being X'd out.
Oh, you're so clever.
Oh, my ribs hurt. 38-29, Connecticut, with 37.3 seconds left to go in the first half, and Carol Walters at the line for the second of 2. And UConn with its biggest lead now, a 10-point, 39-29 advantage.
This is definitely the one-pass offense for Georgia. That's the fourth trip down the floor where there's been one pass and the ball has gone up.
That time by Holland Corn.
You're not going to break down any defense, although Holland Corn did have a wide-open shot. A lot of times when you move the ball around crisply, you get into a rhythm so that when you catch the ball, you're more in a position to take the shot.
Shot clock is off, and so Connecticut can get the last shot. Rita Williams puts it up. And two Connecticut Georgia players go hard for it. Stacey Hansmeyer for Connecticut.
And let's see if they don't try to get it to Kara Walters to at least get the foul, if not the shot.
Rita Williams somehow came up with it, but still, it is Connecticut has led throughout the Connecticut Huskies. 39-29. We'll come on back with the Lee Jeans halftime report right after this.
Of our minds that if we don't work hard, we won't be up there anymore.
Well, that should do it for UConn.
We take a little bit more heat.
Propel them in the Big 12.
Some really top matchups highlighted by our game on February 17th on ESPN. Two of the premier teams in the country, especially in the SEC, Vanderbilt and Tennessee, a chance to see.
Versus only 9 for Georgia. So they've got to take better care of the basketball. But as Gino Auriemma said to us yesterday, he felt that the team that shot the ball better today would win this game. And obviously they're doing that better than Georgia right now.
But Georgia played poorly in the first half, but they kind of feel good that the fact they're only down by 10.
Oh, absolutely. And with a crowd like this, all they need is a couple transition buckets to really get some momentum on their court.
You see Kara Walters and Lakeisha Frett, what they've been able to do in the first half.
One of the stats that really jumps out, though, is that Frett has taken 13 shots already. She's only averaging 16 shots a game, and that's indicative of the fact that she is not including her teammates in the offense. Kara Walters, on the other hand, is 3 for 3 in the first half.
Kara Walters also picked up her second foul, and it's Connecticut off and running again. Dangerous pass, but Sales converts. That's risky by Berube along the baseline like that, but it pays off. Pays off, Sales, get it.
Oh, God, I'm too slow today. I'm sorry, Robert.
12-point lead, the biggest of the game for Connecticut.
Connecticut staying in that 2-3 matchup zone really stymied Georgia in the first half. Their transition between the player-to-player and the 2-3 zone really kept Georgia guessing.
Frett baseline too hard, but Tracy Henderson, who only played 6 minutes in the first half, has 2 fouls, runs it down. And there's a big three by Holland Corn. She has 7 in the game.
Kedra was only 1 for 7 in this first half. We talked about her being a streaky shooter in recent games. She's got to become more active in this second half.
Rita Williams trying to create and draws the foul.
The thing
on
that
Rachel Powell
has set Georgia apart is their ability to score from the outside as well as the inside. If Kedra Holland Corn stays silent, you shut down one part of their game, and then you just concentrate on the inside game, and it's easier to stop them. They've got to be able to hit from the outside like this, as well as go into Henderson inside, let Frett penetrate the zone with her dribble, and pass the ball around.
So Williams goes to the line to shoot 2. Gino Auriemma really has been pleased with the way Rita Williams has played this year.
And you talk about pressure in the last 8 years, only 2 players have run that team from the point position. Debbie Baer 4 years ago and Jen Rosati most recently.
Lane violation, so Rita Williams will get another crack at it.
Lane violation.
That was that fake on the free throw line. You know, where you sort of fake them up and get them off.
Waters did that. Works every time. Still doesn't help. So you see Williams applying the pressure to Powell.
Now Connecticut again switching their defense back to the player-to-player.
Making Powell pick up her dribble.
They're really applying great pressure, and it's forcing Georgia to make bad passes and not see one another clearly.
Georgia clearly out of sync. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Again, Frett taking the shot.
With Frett taking so many perimeter shots, she's not in there for the rebound.
Lakeisha Sales had trouble with it, but Rita Williams comes up with it. And Berube with a big rebound, but has it blocked by Henderson. Oh, that could have been a big basket for Holland Corn and Georgia. Set a 10-point Connecticut lead. Walters trailing.
You know, there are a lot of people that want to criticize Carol Walters and the way she runs the floor, but I think she runs it just fine. That trailer position is ideal for her. After the primary break, there's Carol Walters for the secondary. Short corner. That's what Andy Landers stressed yesterday, was that little area, not quite all the way out to the corner, that is vulnerable against that zone.
Tiffany Walker now with 3 in the game.
I think Georgia's really got to get something going offensively through their defense. They've got to take some chances in this player-to-player defense. They're really letting Connecticut just do whatever they want to.
Carla Berube doesn't shoot much, but when she does, she's normally on the mark.
You think Gino told them at halftime to take the open perimeter shots when they had it? You didn't see Carla Berube do that once in the first half.
Still, she's averaging 10 points this year. Fred again from the baseline. Quickly comes Connecticut. Oh, Rita Williams a bit out of control.
Rita Williams really needed to give up the ball just a step sooner. She held onto it too long, through the 2 defenders, but by the time she could control the ball, it was too late.
She has 3 fouls now in the game.
Now, Gino Auriemma told us yesterday as well that he wants Rita Williams in the game for 35 minutes. He needs her in there at the point position. She averages more minutes than anybody else on the team with over 30 minutes a game.
Shot clock.
Way too much dribbling on Georgia's part.
Peter Holland in the lane, knocks it down.
Unless, of course, you're going to create something for yourself and dribble all you want.
You don't want to say anything.
I know. What do I know?
It's a 9-point lead for Connecticut. Rita Williams takes to the length and dishes off to Carol Walters at the last moment, and she's fouled by Henderson, and that is her 3rd foul. What a play by Rita Williams.
Boy, Tracy Henderson has just not been alert today. Look at Rita Williams seeing the opportunity. She knew Henderson was there to be able to jam her if she tried to take the shot up. And instead, she dishes it off around Henderson's back to Carol Walters, who, again, credits the hands of Carol Walters and the awareness to be able to see that blind pass coming.
But still, Rita Williams made it happen. Again, Tracy Henderson with 3 fouls. But Andy Landers is going to keep her in for a bit. Walters misses them both. And Decker with the rebound.
The crowd is sort of determined that they're going to take over this game and try to spark their team on.
A new record, 10,523 on hand. Biggest crowd to see a women's game here in Stegman.
Capacity crowd. They were trying for this. They ran a lot of promotions to get a lot of kids out of school who are off today because of the holiday.
Too hard by Fred for the putback. She's fouled. And we'll go to the line.
Tracy Henderson trying to make herself a part of this offense. Fred now in a position to get the rebounds. What's been happening is, and you can see just how frustrated she is, what's been happening is she's been taking so many perimeter shots that she's not in position for boards. Now, she leads this team in rebounding, averaging over 8 a game, and she has not been able to do that because she's been on the perimeter shooting.
Shea Ralph comes in because that was Nikisha Sales' 3rd foul. Fred so cool from the line. In fact, she led the SEC in free throw percentage last year, 84%. She's at 81. She's down to 81 this year.
I think you could add my field goal and free throw percentage and wouldn't add up to 81, right?
Can't quite get the bounce. Decker tries to keep it alive. But Shea Ralph comes up with it for Connecticut. Connecticut with an 8-point lead. 15 and a half left to go in the ball game.
We've got Fred guarding Rita Williams. Now that's a mismatch if you've ever seen one.
And you saw it right there, almost create the turnover. A lot of confusion. And the foul is on, appears to be on Rita Williams. Her 2nd. It is. And so the Lady Dogs trying to get this capacity crowd in it, and they're making a run at the top-ranked and undefeated Connecticut Huskies.
Once upon
Walters now with 6 rebounds. Inside to Walters, he's double-teamed. Can't quite get it to fall down, but Berube comes up with it and will put it up. Again, she doesn't shoot much.
No, but she's capable, and that's, if there was one thing that you might call an Achilles heel for the Connecticut team, it would be their ability to just take the pass and shoot it off the pass. And they're showing this afternoon in the second half particularly that they don't have an Achilles heel.
And Henderson is fouled down low on Williams, and that's her 3rd foul. So Tracy Hinder will go to the line. Tracy Henderson, a 70% free throw shooter. As Gino takes this opportunity to talk it over with his point guard. Wow. She's averaging almost 17 points a game, only 2. She's trying to hang on. Maybe she make it a 3, but nothing doing. It's been that kind of game.
She only took 2 shots in the entire first half, and again, only played 6 minutes. She reached the 1,000-point plateau here at Georgia in 74 games, which is the same as Teresa Edwards.
She's having a tough time as she misses them both, and Berube comes away with the rebound, her 4th.
The beauty of this Georgia team has been their balance. Kedra Holland-Korn and Henderson are both over 16 points a game, and yet we haven't seen a lot from them this afternoon.
Shea Ralph just couldn't get it to go down. Still a good move by the freshman. Brett does decide to pass it, but turns it over.
What happens is when one player tries to take over like that, the rest of her teammates get caught just standing. So then when she is looking to pass, no one's stepping into the gap.
Georgia down by 11. Walters working on Henderson, who has 3 fouls and can only put her arms up.
That's right, and smart move by Carol Walters. Again, good footwork to turn towards the baseline where there is no help.
In and out by Powell. Oh, good heads-up play. Kedra Holland-Korn bouncing it off of Carla Berube, so to remain the Lady Dogs ball for Andy Landers. Paige Sauer, her first action of the second half, going in for Carol Walters, and Nikisha Sales, who has 3 fouls, coming back in as well for Rita Williams.
Now let's see if Georgia doesn't try to play on Nikisha Sales and go after her to try to get her in foul trouble.
Tough time getting it in, but they finally do.
Now that's not exactly the shot that you're looking for.
And out of bounds, Connecticut had the numbers there to get it, but couldn't control it, so a break for the Lady Dogs.
Robin, you mentioned a break. Georgia's getting a couple right now. What they have to do is start to capitalize on it.
Well, Andy Landers wants to talk it over. His team is down 52-39. Just under 13 and a half left to go in this ball game. Plenty of action here.
Now, full court pressure is exactly what you would expect to see from Georgia right now. They've got to create some turnovers.
And they did right there. Berube pleading her case, but Decanter, the official, was right there on the mark.
Andy Landers knows that to key his offense is going to have to come from the defense, and the defense in the half court has really been sort of lackadaisical. They've been there, their bodies have been in the place, but they haven't done anything to create any turnovers.
Henderson working down low, has a block by Paige Sauer.
Good body control by the freshman. Now the crowd wants Georgia to do something on defense.
Andy Landers over there on the sidelines inciting the crowd to get into it.
Do something other than foul, though.
Irwin's first personal foul. Connecticut quickly scores.
Must be frustrating for Saudi Roundtree, who we saw just a minute ago, to have to sit in the stands and not be able to help her former teammates out.
The former teammates down by 13. Inside to Henderson. Shea Ralph, the quick hands, knocks it out of bounds and remain the Lady Dogs ball.
Tracy Henderson trying to plead her case with the referees that they are pushing her. That's something when you hear Tracy Henderson complain about a physical game.
Fret inside. Nice left-hand move.
That was available because her teammates had really spread out, opening up the key area.
Quickly down to Amy Duran. Henderson again, 3 fouls, but can only stand there, and Duran goes over Tracy Henderson, and Duran now has 12 in the game.
Connecticut team very aware of the foul situation for Georgia. Amy Duran, only a sophomore, knew that she needed to go right at Tracy Henderson.
Henderson is there to respond.
It's not good enough to trade baskets. Georgia has to start doing something to create their own momentum.
At this point, down by this much, they can't trade. Again on the break, off to Duran, and she's fouled. And Lakeisha Fret.
Robin, Gino Auriemma stressed yesterday when Naismith, he came over and said, now look, if we mess up against the press, you can tell everybody that we spent 25 minutes on it. And what he stressed was the press can work in our favor. If you keep your composure with a couple of good passes, you're going to end up getting layups. And here's an example of that right now. Shea Ralph drawing the defense to her. Good composure by a freshman and a sophomore to convert on that fast break.
And there's the head of her fan club. Her mom made the trip from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Duran, 80% free throw shooter, but she does get her own rebound. And she kicks it out. And nails the three.
We talked in the beginning of the game about Amy Duran being the one player who can take advantage of what Georgia was giving them, and that's that perimeter shot. Carla Berube, another player who has really stepped up in this second half.
Every time Georgia tries to make a run for it, Pam Irwin. Again, I don't think that Georgia's going to go away, folks.
Pam Irwin is in there to shoot the ball.
She is a shooter and almost comes up with a steal. But instead, it's Shea Ralph driving hard. Oh, what a putback by Amy Duran.
I'll tell you, this has been the freshman-sophomore show for the past couple possessions.
She now has 19 in the game.
How about the aggressiveness of this freshman, Shea Ralph? And we talked about how many times she's been to the line, but look at her. She doesn't hesitate in the least to take the ball. She's trying to draw the defense to her to either dump it off to Kara Walters or take a shot. And look at Amy Duran in the position. Connecticut doing a really fine job of positioning themselves for the rebound.
And the old-fashioned three-point play gives Duran 20, and her team in a commanding 64-47 lead. Four-time Olympian, the only four-time Olympian, Teresa Edwards, they could use you out there.
I know. It wouldn't be a bad thing to get out there right now, actually, because I do want us to win this game.
It's been a tough go so far.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed, Teresa. You had to have a police escort. You're huge around here.
God. Well, this is
two-time
everybody wants a piece of it.
Hey, Teresa, those medals that we saw earlier, are those the real gold medals up in the
That's the real thing up there. It's, you know, I don't want to entice anyone to come steal them.
You don't just, like, wear them around or anything?
No, I let Coach Landis keep them. He can hang on to them.
Too humble, too humble. Well, stay here with us, Teresa. 64-47. Connecticut has led throughout. Pam Irwin. That'll get him back in it. Big three-pointer for Irwin.
And we got a little clap out of Teresa on that one.
Where it is.
And Lakeisha Sales. Such a big-time player.
That's just with Lakeisha Fret on Lakeisha Sales. There's no way at 6'3" that Sales should have been able to get that shot off over Fret.
And Sales can do it all. Knocks it out of bounds. What does it feel like to see 10,000 people here on hand, Teresa?
Amazing. Never once have we had this when I was here. Amazing. It's really exciting.
You can see where the women's game has come.
I think all 10,000 have asked for Teresa's autograph, though, Robin.
Pam Irwin again with the three. And the Lady Dogs making a run at Connecticut. Still down by 14. Lakeisha Sales.
That'll take the air out of us.
You know, I think this is a game off horse. But again, Georgia has to make a defensive stop. Continue this offensive onslaught in and out by Irwin. And the rebound by Walters.
Connecticut not giving up anything. They're still forcing the tempo here.
They have a 70-53 lead. Walters a turnaround, but too hard. Press the rebound. She's battled by Shea Ralph, who was called for the foul. And that is her third foul. It's amazing to see freshmen Teresa come in at this level, like a Shea Ralph, and play with this kind of confidence.
Very much so. Very much so.
Okay, Teresa, if you could be a guest coach in the next timeout, what would you tell the team?
I think we got to be a little more intense on defense. We're full court pressing, but we're not making anything happen. And Tracy has got to get in this game.
Yeah, I was surprised she only played 6 minutes in that first half, only took 2 shots.
She did have 2 fouls in the first half. And Pam Irwin is going to be called for traveling. Good pressure there by Shea Ralph. A 17-point lead. 9.5 left to go in this ball game between the top-ranked and undefeated Connecticut Huskies and the 5th-ranked Georgia Lady Bulldogs.
This Connecticut team has shown great versatility. They run when they have to, they run when they can, and yet they can still play in the half court as well. They pass the ball well, they use one another. They've got an inside-outside attack. I'm not sure what the weakness is here. What do you think, Bruce?
I don't think they have any today.
The foul called on Tiffany Walker.
Teresa, now that you're playing professionally, I don't know if you've been keeping up on the national scene on the collegiate level, but what do you think about how everything is stacking up with the top 25, and then as we move later into the season, what we might see in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, my goodness. I haven't been really keeping up with it, but looking at Connecticut today, and I've heard a lot about Old Dominion, which is a team I'd really like to get to see. Of course, Stanford and Georgia. All the SECs up in there, top 5. That's really good basketball right there. Any game I get a chance to see, I'm definitely coming out to see.
You know, there were some people that were saying that Connecticut really hadn't been tested and they really got the #1 ranking by default simply because they hadn't lost yet. Well, what do you think after seeing what they've done so far?
I think Connecticut looked really strong today. Carol did a really great job on the inside, and they had the outside threat going also, which is really hard for Georgia to capitalize on one thing. They got to play the inside-outside full-court basketball now.
The one area that I think that Carol Walters has really improved her game is in her composure. She doesn't let the little fouls affect her anymore. You see her facial expression rarely changes in the game, where last year there was a very emotional facial expression most of the time.
Your entire team right now is exemplifying major confidence.
And Walker makes them both for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, still down by 15. 9:04 left to go for Andy Landers and Gino Auriemma, 2 of the top coaches in the game today.
And Robin, as we keep saying, Georgia needs to make something happen quickly. They have plenty of time to cut into this lead, but they've got to do it defensively, create steals. Don't let Connecticut use so much of the clock each time.
Oh, the baby hook by Carol Walters.
Hey, she comes by that naturally. Her father played at Boston College. Her father Willie was a great player. Taught her that little baby hook.
She has 15 in the game. Her 15th straight game that she's been in double figures. Tracy Henderson trying to work on Walters, but brings it back out. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Holland Korn, too hard. Henderson tries to knock it out, but Rita Williams controls.
That 6'7" presence inside for Connecticut really affects the opponent's offensive strategies.
Good move by Berube again. She now has 12.
Big difference between these two teams this afternoon is that Connecticut has gotten contributions from everyone on the floor.
And that is Connecticut's style of play. Georgia trying to work it around to Pam Irwin. Nice touch for the shooter. But again, they can't simply trade baskets, Teresa.
That's what I was telling myself.
74-57, 7.5 left to go in this game. Inside to Walters. She now has 17. Deidre Holland-Korn in and out. Henderson, the offensive rebound, and she's fouled by Berube.
Henderson, good position that time. That's one of the things that's been lacking for Georgia, as we mentioned. severely out-rebounded in the first half, 22-11 by Connecticut, but in the second half, they're doing a better job on the boards.
You see Lakeisha Frett waiting to come in. One of 6 seniors, 5 starters for Andy Landers. You thought he cried when you left, Teresa. He's going to really cry when this
senior class
leaves. But Andy Landers, I know, he's been here for 18 years and he's been like a father figure to many of the players. He really stays involved with many of the players.
He's still a father figure for me, actually. He's a great guy.
Henderson 0 for 2 from the line today. She now has 5 as Sadia Roundtree.
What do you think about that tie-dye shirt, huh?
Your teammate in the ABL.
Brighten the place up.
She's styling.
Smile with it.
And Henderson makes them both.
Also in for Georgia, number 15.
Connecticut still with the 76-59 lead with 7:02 left to go in this ball game. Come on back, everyone. Office.
That's
so
right.
kind of you.
Oh, he's a man. He can take care of him better than I can. I stay on the road too much.
You're so humble. You have been throughout your whole career.
Well, thank you. But, you know, it's not hard to be humble. It's just be yourself and, you know, let it roll. But Coach Landers really does a good job of taking care of those medals. I heard he lost them a couple times.
Oh.
He found them before I knew about it. So, I mean, he's done a great job over the years.
Well, you're responsible for many of these banners that are hanging up here in Stegman Coliseum.
Not a championship yet.
Not a championship. No, 2 times to the Final Four.
We're working on that.
2 times in the championship game, but still looking for that elusive national championship. And Teresa Edwards, we really appreciate you stopping by and talking with us.
Thank you.
We know we're cramping your style. You want to cheer and all that.
I'm glad you guys let me sit in.
You're dismissed, but thank you very much for joining us. Carla Berube forces it. Holland Corn comes up with it. Runs to Brett. In and out. Those are the baskets they have to make.
The problem with not making a basket, obviously, is you don't get the 2 points, but you also don't get to set full court pressure to be able to try to create some turnovers. They are way too laid back in this half-court offense, or defense, rather.
Not applying enough pressure on Duran.
Geez, a little up and under.
So savvy. Very underrated, doesn't get a lot of press. And the steal by Rita Williams, a heads-up play. Sloppy play by Georgia, and Rita Williams takes advantage.
This is reminiscent of the Clemson game where Georgia got out-rebounded 55-33. Jim Davis and his Clemson team really establishing themselves early in this year by beating Georgia, one of the top teams in the country.
Too short by Holland Corn. Goes out of bounds, so it's Connecticut's ball. And do you think, Mimi, Connecticut's trying to make a statement here? This is the 4th time they've played a top 25 team. Many people felt that they're #1 by default, that they haven't really truly earned the ranking, but this kind of play on an opposing team's court is mighty impressive.
This definitely makes a statement. I'm not sure that they're trying to make it as much as just trying to play the best basketball they can. You want to talk about a true team and a true team spirit and the way they help one another and use one another on offense and on defense.
Especially the play of the freshman, Shea Ralph.
The aggressiveness of this freshman is really impressive. For her to be able to come in here, have the kind of poise and confidence to go after the basket and then go after her teammates for a big group hug.
There's dear old mom again. I used to do that. I did that at North Carolina.
I'll tell you, now she knows she's on camera. She's getting a lot of airtime. The better Shea does, the more airtime she gets.
Her 8th point in the game. Not her mom, her Shea Ralph. 5.5 left to go. 83-59, Connecticut.
Now this isn't going to work. Georgia can't take a lot of time off each possession. They've got to score and score quickly.
And again, totally out of sync and throwing the ball away is Deidre Holland Corn. 13th turnover by Andy Landers' team. Carol Walters, Amy Duran, Shea Ralph, Carla Berube, and Rita Williams are starting 5. There's 5 in now for Connecticut. Paige Sauer takes a seat.
It's impressive with Connecticut as they lose what you consider marquee players each year. They continue to come back even stronger. Everyone thought that the team would fall apart without Rebecca Lobo, and look what they did last year. Then with the loss of Jen Rosati and Jamel Elliott,
Everyone was concerned because where's the point guard position? How's that going to be filled? And Rita Williams steps right up, and the freshmen come in and play like they can. Well, Gino, give credit to Auriemma and his staff, of Chris Daly, Charlene Curtis, and Tanya Cardoza. They've really built a program there that people can come in and take the place of other players. And here we see, really, for Connecticut, they just have Notre Dame, the only ranked opponent that they have left in their regular season schedule. And keep in mind, in the Big East, they're outscoring their opponents by almost 30 points. But nonetheless, they're undefeated and the top-ranked team in the land. Come on back, everyone.
Maybe have a legitimate chance to win the national championship. I think more people believe that that they have a chance than ever before.
Women's basketball, indeed, a wide open. Connecticut top-ranked and undefeated. You see the AP top 10, Old Dominion, very strong. Stanford, the preseason #1, Alabama, which beat Georgia just this week, snapping their 22-game home winning streak. So it's very wide open. Tennessee with a number of losses this year, but they have a tough schedule that Pat Summitt is playing.
Plus, I'll tell you what, that was only the top 10. The next 10, there are teams in there who have beaten teams in the top 10, like NC State upset Old Dominion, and Arkansas beat Tennessee. So there are teams in that bottom tier of the top 25 that absolutely on a given night can come out and beat any one of those top 10.
That's it. Walters makes 1 of 2, so that's why it's going to be very exciting on ESPN with the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row, culminating in with the Final Four in Cincinnati at the end of March. The miss by Holland Corn. Long pass to Shea Ralph, who tries to save it, but a turnover by Connecticut.
You know, Robin, we were talking earlier before the game about some of the teams who don't have great records right now, like a Purdue or an Iowa, who are still very dangerous and capable of beating any one of these teams.
See the field goal percentage still down for Georgia, even in the second half, 39%. They've just not been able to get the ball to go down.
I'll tell you, 62% by Connecticut is an incredible stat.
That's amazing.
To be able to shoot that from the field against a top team like Georgia. Again, they have led the nation for three straight years in field goal percentage. And Gino Auriemma predicted that whoever shot the ball better this afternoon would win this game.
And the hustle again by Shea Ralph, but can't quite control it. And she is fouled. Excuse me. Out of bounds. It will be Georgia's ball.
Just no life in the step of these Georgia players right now. They seem very discouraged.
10 seconds on the shot clock. So Fred, oh, she didn't call it. Wait a minute.
Hey,
got to call it off the board.
It's 2 points nonetheless.
84-61. 4:10 left to go in the game. We've got the NCAA tournament coming up in March. And then happy to say that we'll be covering the WNBA this summer, June, July, and August. I'm very excited about bringing you professional basketball. That's the third foul on Holland Corn. And as we were talking to Teresa Edwards earlier, Mimi, with women's basketball doing so well professionally with the ABL,
that's right,
and then with the WNBA coming along this summer, it's a wealth of basketball that we're seeing now in the women's game.
Well, the bottom line is it's a wealth of opportunities for the young women who have gone through the ranks, and they have the opportunity now to stay at home and play instead of having to go overseas and be isolated and have no one appreciate their talents or their games anymore. We can all continue to watch them grow and flourish.
Walters, 1 of 2, and Lakeisha Sales, though, controls it. And Walters was going the other way. They come back. They got the rebound. Carol Walters, one of those seniors that will have some opportunities when she graduates.
Execution. Connecticut, it's all about execution with them, and they've done a tremendous job with their offensive execution.
Too much by Rita Williams, and Lakeisha Bush is fouled. Sales now with 5 fouls, so Lakeisha Sales will have to come out. Georgia, the SEC, they know what it's like to face these two teams. Vanderbilt and Tennessee will bring you that game February 17th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The SEC down a little bit this year, but nonetheless still the strongest women's conference in the game today. Vandy and Tennessee
And Robin, they just played to an overtime game recently, so the chances are it's going to be another good one.
Yeah, Tennessee pulled it out in Nashville, and now Vandy will have to go to Knoxville and try and redeem itself.
And it was just yesterday that they played that game. You know, it really speaks to the strength of the SEC. We talk a lot about them being down this year, yet they're still clearly dominant. Just shows you how dominant they were to begin with.
3.5 left to go, 85-61. Connecticut and Carla Berube are cruising right now. She has 14.
Assist by the big girl, Kara Walters.
In fact, Big Girl, that's her dream, to have a talk show called Late Night with Big Girl.
And she wants you to be the first guest, Robin. Did she tell you?
That I didn't get, but yes, I do know that's her craziest ambition. 87-61, the 3-minute mark in the game. Duran can't quite control it, but does. Out to Rita Williams.
You know, you have to wonder if this Georgia team isn't a little fatigued. They've had an incredible number of games in the last month, and this is, as we mentioned, their 9th game against a ranked opponent, 4th in the last 6 games. So they're going against incredible competition each night.
And Connecticut's so fresh. You see how they just crashed the boards. 3 of them going for the boards right there. Time definitely on Connecticut's side.
And they're wisely using every bit of that shot clock with each possession. Except for Shea Ralph, who is like a magnet towards that basket.
And she draws the foul. The 4th foul on Holland Corn.
One of the stats that really jumped out at me as I was reviewing it last night was that Connecticut has shot 175 more free throws than their opponents. Georgia, on the other hand, has shot 19 fewer free throws, which means Connecticut is scoring a lot from the line. And one of the reasons is the freshman Shea Ralph and the way she dribble penetrates. Carla Berube, the same thing, likes to go to the basket, and as a result, they either get the shot or they get to the line. Nikisha Sales is also that way.
Connecticut scoring a lot, period. They're averaging 82 points a game. They've surpassed that. And you see the 3 super freshmen for Connecticut, led by Shea Ralph,
averaging more minutes than any other sub coming off the bench.
10 points now for Shea Ralph, as the Lady Dogs can just sit and see what's happening to them. Last year, they were the ones enjoying themselves at Campbell Pavilion, snapping Connecticut's 44-game winning streak at home at the time. In and out by Powell. The putback by Bush. And finally, Powell getting it to go down. Time running out. Just 2 minutes left to go in this game.
With the way Connecticut has played today, Robin, is certainly feasible that this is another team that has the potential to go undefeated. In their regular season, we mentioned that they're only going to meet one more ranked opponent, and that's Notre Dame. And they'll probably meet them again in the Big East Final, or the Big East Tournament, rather. And then going on into the NCAA. But you know what? I wouldn't want that pressure. I wouldn't want the pressure of being undefeated going into the NCAA tournament again.
Well, it's pressure that they faced 2 years ago, and it didn't bother them then. They went 35-0 and won the national title. So Gino Auriemma kind of gets his team ready night in and night out, or day in and day out, in the case here, this afternoon game.
You know what, though? You still get to keep the trophy, even if you're not undefeated.
Pam Irwin goes to the line because Missy Rose came up with her first foul. Missy Rose, one of the seniors. 21 for 21 is Pam Irwin, and I didn't jinx her. Now 22 of 22. She has not missed a free throw at all this season, but she went, 6 games without shooting a free throw.
That's right. An outstanding performer last year for Andy Lander. She was on the All-SEC freshman team. And one of the great attributes of this Georgia program is Andy Lander's ability to recruit the top players in the nation. He has recruited 5 National Prep Players of the Year. And that has resulted in his 500th win this year against Middle Tennessee.
And Pam Irwin still perfect from the line for Andy Landers. A little consolation, down 89-65. A minute and a half left to go. Connecticut preserving its undefeated record and top ranking. Oh, the backdoor again, but blocked by Diana Lott, the freshman for Georgia.
All the purists out there are giving a cheer for that backdoor play. That is the signature of the Connecticut offense, is they get at least a couple of those a game.
Good basic basketball.
You know what's great is everybody knows that they're going to run that, and yet they still can't defend it 100%.
Third foul on Rachel Powell. So Rita Williams will go back to the line. 89-65.
There's been some speculation about the Connecticut schedule. We've mentioned that before, but I think it has really been a smart move by Gina Auriemma and his staff to schedule the way they have this year. Because what happened is they had a big game, the first game of the year against Western Kentucky. Then they didn't have any ranked opponents for a while. It gives their freshmen and their players without the experience a chance to just ease into the pressure of playing Connecticut basketball.
And the rebound by one of those freshmen, Stacey Hansmeyer. And she draws some attention, even though her shot was blocked. Tammy Arnold, the sophomore, coming in, relieving Amy Duran.
It's so important with freshmen to not only develop their physical abilities, but also their mental and emotional abilities and their self-confidence. And why let them get hammered each and every night? Schedule so that they can ease into it.
Amy Duran goes out with 22 points. That's a career high for her. 1 minute, approaching the 1 minute mark. Inside to Hansmeyer. And there again, the good ball movement by Connecticut. Doesn't matter if it's the starting five or the last five.
Lots of touches in their offensive series. They get everybody touching the ball at least once.
Under a minute to go. The foul called away from the ball. 3 seconds in the lane. So it will be Connecticut's ball.
You want to talk about shell shock. Amy Duran came from a high school in Bethesda, Maryland, Stone Ridge High School. It only has a couple hundred students. She never played in front of more than a couple hundred people. Then she goes to Connecticut, where she plays in front of 8,000 a game last year and over 10,000 a game this year.
They lead the nation in attendance. 10,273 fans at Gamble. They filled up the place a couple of weeks ago at the Hartford Civic Center when Tennessee came to town. And another basket, this time by Kelly Hunt. Ball the rebound. Just 10 seconds left to go in this game between #1 Connecticut and #5 Georgia. And Tammy Arnold puts it up and gets the foul. That's when you know things are going well. I don't even think she even saw the basket. And that's the ball game. UConn remaining undefeated with a 97-65 convincing win over the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. Coming up next, NBA Inside Stuff. We'll be back in a moment. The Connecticut Huskies have just defeated the Lady Bulldogs of Georgia 97-65, and Mimi, impressive by the top team in the land.
Definitely. They defined the word team this afternoon, Robin, because they really utilized all their talents, all their abilities from each and every player. Everybody contributed, and that was the difference in today's game.
And for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, just their 4th loss in the season, but they have to go on and play that tough SEC schedule.
Yeah, they'll regroup, I guarantee.